All right, welcome back. And now the discussion still continues with Peter Murgor. Well, you were talking about, you raised a very important, point, the need for, some sort of stakeholders engagement, the work ethics between all partners, that is stakeholders involved as far as, averting this already escalating situation is concerned. So just how critical is it important for partnership right now to try and avert the already situation that is getting out of hand?
Thank you, Evans. It is quite important for people to come together now as partners, especially seeing the vast needs. We are looking at compounded needs. This is not a disaster that is just like, say, people need food. No, we are talking about people not being in homes, so there is need for shelter, there is need for provision of food assistance, there is need for provision of medicines, there is need for provision of water treatment chemicals and water that is clean and safe for drinking. There is need for evacuation into safe centers. This means that different players need to come in with support. Different people need to come and be able to support from different perspectives so that we are able to support this community. So it's important to collaborate. It's important to coordinate because of the wide scale and the huge number of people that are in need of assistance at the moment, and especially seeing the needs. Funding partners would really come in handy to provide funds for response, for example. Yeah.
All right. And another very critical question that, as far as this particular discussion is concerned, I remember a couple of months ago, we were talking about, the preparedness as far as this El Nino is concerned. And the question will be, did we actually hit the call? Because they were warning out there that we might find ourselves in this situation. So did we take the warning from the Med department as far as El Nino is concerned, or what happened?
Very good question. And I think that's a discussion that needs to be like learnings that we carry forward from these incidents, because yes, there was early warning. Yes, there was information that we are expecting the October, November, December rains to be amplified and compounded by the El Nino phenomenon and Indian Oceanic Dipole. As to whether we took that seriously, as to whether people believed in the forecasts, that's another discussion. But at least on the Kenya Red Cross side, what really worked well for us is we took heed of that information. We started preparing. We started pre-positioning items into Northeastern region that now was cut off. We trained aqua rescue teams. We worked with communities to disseminate to them about having community-based disease surveillance and clearing drainages. And Evans, this really proved to be very beneficial, because when now it was time to respond, we had relief items, at least in Northeastern. When the roads were cut off, at least there were some relief items inside there. When the farmers were marooned, our aqua rescue teams and the boats we had prepositioned, we used them to evacuate and to move these farmers into safe areas. So yes, we could have prepared better. We could have done better to heed the early warning information that was there. But I think these are lessons that we are learning. We need to experience something to be able to learn and maybe act better. So these are lessons that are being learned, that yes, when there's a forecast next time, when there is a credible forecast for that matter, we should now heed it, come collectively, start taking tangible actions. Indeed, Evans, let me say, when I look at late August into early September, there were very good initial efforts, especially by the National Disaster Operations Center, Kenya Red Cross, UN agencies and stakeholders coming together to try and say, how do we develop contingency plans? How do we develop El Nino preparedness plans and response plans? How do we even support communities and prepare for this? But along the way, it seemed the ball dropped. Probably we didn't go the whole mile to anticipate and to put resources for early action, and even the response was needed to put the adequate resources. I think it now took lives being seen to have been displaced for people now to start acting.
Okay. Well, because you are on the ground and you get to at least either witness or get the first-hand information on the situation, well, it's now an issue of how prepared each counties are. And if you want to talk about the areas that are mostly affected, we are talking about the northeastern, some parts of coast. In terms of each county government actually chipping in and giving the support that is needed, do you think the counties are doing enough to actually avert this and talk less of the national government?
What I know, Evans, is their attempts and efforts towards this.
Okay.
There are discussions, there are frameworks that are being established. We are seeing counties, they're not where it should be, but I think we must say this year we've seen deliberate efforts and attempts towards that.
Okay.
We saw Nairobi County, for example, Kiambu County. We saw a number of counties launching El Nino response plans. We saw a number of counties trying to work around clearing drainages and all that. Mm-hmm. But I think a lot more needs to go into that. There needs to be much more investments into infrastructure. Mm-hmm. There need to be frameworks that allow drainage systems not to be interfered with, that allows infrastructure, that allows waterways to go where they need to go to be done. There needs to be a lot of community engagement and sensitization. So there's a lot more that can be done, Evans. So the good thing is that there are conversations happening right now.
Okay.
The main thing we would want to see is those conversations now trickling down into frameworks, trickling down into policies, and the things that will now enable early action, enable early warning systems, enable mitigation of such impacts and resource allocation for that matter, because some of these things also are resource intensive.
Okay. Well, Peter Murgol, thank you so much for making time to talk to us about this very important conversation at a time that most parts of the country continue to receive heavy rainfall that has affected some families. Others have lost their lives as a result of this El Nino. So thank you so much. And I think this is where we have to leave it because of time, but it's always a pleasure having you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Evans. Thank you very much, the entire crew of KUTV. Always a pleasure to engage and interact with you. Thank you, bye.
Okay. Well, we take yet another short break. When we come back, it's Sporty Action.